Hello everybody and welcome back to Streamatrix. My name is Neil and you're back watching another Manchester United video. We just finished with we just finished our Manchester United watch-along, which was against FC Bodø Glimt in the Europa League, and we are back with the match reaction. I mean, it was a very interesting match overall. I think there was a lot of ups and downs in the match. Overall, I think we started very strong and then ended up making it a little bit dicey for ourselves, along with a lot more here and there with the passing along with the positioning. But we're going to dive into all of that in this match reaction. This is fresh off after the match has finished. I haven't taken a look at any of the interviews that has been out there or Amorim's comments as of now. I will try to do that towards the end of this reaction. I'm going to keep it short, 15 minutes, I think, at the top. And I will follow that up with my FC25 live stream, which is going to come up after this particular reaction. So I'm excited to get into it. Amorim's first game at Manchester United at Old Trafford in the Europa League, and we end up getting the win, and that's 3 points in the bag, which is very, very important for us. And I'm happy with the 3 points and the first win. I think it's the first win of our season in the Europa League. So I might be wrong. If I'm wrong, let me know. Let me know in the comments below, and let me know how you are feeling about Manchester United. If you're a Manchester United fan, did you expect this win to be there? I had predicted a 3-1 win in my Manchester United app that I was working 3-0 actually, but it ended up being a 3-2 with us conceding a couple of goals. So we're going to dissect all of that in the match reaction, which is coming up right now on Streamatrix. See you there. Okay, so in this match reaction, we are going to structure it into a different way. I mean, if you have not seen any of my match reactions, prior match reactions, we structured it in 3 simple ways. First, I will give you my overall match thoughts by going through the play-by-play in the match, and then we are going to do our player ratings in the match, where we're going to go into the performance of each player and understand how they affected the gameplay and what was their role in this particular team. And finally, we're going to give our verdict on Amorim and how his first game at Old Trafford went. So this is going to be the 3-part way that we analyze the match. So let's start first with the play-by-play dissection of the match and how we performed in each of the sections. So let me bring the graphic right up. All right, so this is how the match to an extent appeared in the Europa League for today. So it ended up being a 3-2 scoreline, if you guys are not aware of it. So that's where we were at. I think when looking at the play-by-play of this particular match, you're going to see exactly when we scored or how we scored. But as of now, the overall stats remains this as such, that we have had a total of 20 total attempts in this match compared to Bodø Glimt's 7. We've had 18 attempts from open play. Bodø Glimt have had 6. Set piece, they've had 1, and counter attack we've had 2. And this was the overall sort of attacking types that attacking stats for Manchester United. Now, if you look at the total shot taken, 20-7, and the conversion rate of 28% for Bodø Glimt and 15% for us, 3 goals to 2. I think overall, Bodø Glimt's setup was more on the line of a deep defending line. They were more focused on ensuring that they are not sort of overstepping the defense. They had packed the midfield. I think at one point of time, I counted 6 players sort of packing the center of the midfield, which concentrated our attack and our play more from the wingers and the wing backs, basically. So I'm going to go over the team which we had. But before that, let's just look at the way we had structured our attacking play. Now, due to the midfield position of Bodø Glimt, we could not focus a lot of attack through the midfield. We tried to play through the lines, but in most of the times it ended up in us giving up the position, and and Bodø Glimt ended up getting the ball for this particular when we tried to attack through the midfield. Hence, as you can see in this particular graphic, that majority of the attack for us were through the winger positions, be it Garnacho and Malacia in the first half in the left wing, and in the right wing was Anthony and Mount. in the right wing in the first half. In the second half, in the left side was Dalot and Garnacho, and in the right wing it was Rashford and Ahmad, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. So that's how we're structured. I'm going to go over the team structure and the team which was a starting lineup as well, because I will discuss about the individual team player ratings. So yeah, as you can see, for Bodø Glimt, however, the majority of the attack was through the midfield, and for them the attacking was more of the keeper going with a long pass over the defenders, over our defenders, and in behind. And I think the kind of high line that we were maintaining at one point in time, all of our players were around the box of Bodø Glimt, which including our defenders. So we were playing a very, very high line, which was good to see, a welcome change. But it does leave us open at the back, because if you do not have pace to track back when the opponent is on the break, then it becomes really difficult to be able to ensure that the ball doesn't end up in the back of the net. And the couple of goals that we conceded led from individual errors actually. And overall, I think to an extent it was preventable, but I'm going to come to that individual goals when we go over the play-by-play of this particular match. But anyways, this is how our attacking play looked like compared to Bodø Glimt. In terms of the shot direction, as you can see, for us, a lot of the shots were from the middle. We were seeing a lot of the attacking midfielders and our attackers sort of cut back and try to take a shot in. It was a welcome change. There were a lot of attacks. There were a lot of chances that we created for a striker, which is again a welcome change for Manchester United, because to be fair, Rasmus Højlund and Zirkzee had been living off scraps in the first part of our season. And we've had wingers who've been a bit more selfish in their play, with taking shots from outside the box, by taking shots from unrealistic angles. To an extent, old habits die hard. I mean, there were instances in which the shots were, there were people who were taking shots from outside the box, including Bruno, including Ahmad, including Garnacho. But overall, Rasmus Højlund ended up getting a brace, which means which is much more than what he bargained for, I think. And in Ruben Amorim's system, I think the striker will be a very, very important position. I think he is going to focus, considering the way he played at Sporting, and he's bringing the same ideology here. The striker is a big part of the attacking play, in which the ball is worked towards to ensure that the strikers get their optimum number of chances. So, which ended up with Rasmus Højlund, and I think he had a very good game today, Højlund, and had direct involvement in all the 3 goals that we have scored. So it was a very good game for him. But we're going to come to individual performances. All right, and for Bodø Glimt, the attacking play, 71% of their attacking shots were from the center of the box, and I think Onana had made a few good saves as well. The 2 goals that we conceded, I think Onana was left stranded. There was one piece of goalkeeping in the end where he had to defend from outside the box, and he had flustered all over the place because of a bad misplaced pass by Dalot. But he did recover, and the ball did end up getting cleared out. So that's a good shout out to him. He had a good performance, I think, Onana overall. So yep, that was it for the shot directions from both the teams. If you look at the shot zones, so I've done a lot of these match reactions, and if you would have seen my previous match reactions, you would have seen our shots inside the 6 yards box are often 5%, 3%, and our shots from inside the 18-yard box is roughly about 45 to 50%, and 50% of our shots are outside the box. This is how our team has been playing over the past seasons, and I've done the similar kind of analysis for a few previous matches as well, which is there on my channel. You can go and have a look at that. But this is such a welcome change to see that 10% of our shots were inside the 6 yards box that we have taken out of the 20 attempts. 60% of the shots were from the 18 yards box, and only 30% outside the box, which means that 70% of the shots that we have taken have been from inside the box. And that's the first welcome change that we can see under Ruben Amorim's system. And this is something that we've been crying out loud as Manchester United fans, that work the ball inside the box so that you have better chance of scoring and putting the ball in the back of the net. And lo and behold, we scored 3 goals in this game, which is very, very good considering the goal scoring, the lack of goal scoring form that we've had over the past few months or so. So yeah, I think it's a welcome change to see that about 70%. Ideally, it should have been about 20% inside the 6 yards box, but I think that this is a welcome improvement. 70% inside the box, 18-yard box is a great improvement, and I think again this also was possible because Bodø Glimt was playing a very low defensive line inside their box, so it made it easier for us to work the ball inside the 18 yards box. It made it difficult for us to work the ball inside the 6 yards box. But I think overall it was this statistic is a major improvement compared to the previous games reaction that I've done and the stats that I've seen. For Bodø Glimt, a majority of the shots were from in the 18 yards box and none in the 6 yards box. They couldn't work the ball inside there, and 43% of the shots were from outside the box. And to be fair, I think Bodø Glimt looked lethal on the break, but their overall play in terms of working the ball inside the box or passing were not really very accurate. I don't think their passing was up to the mark, and I think to an extent Bodø's keeper was also very I mean, he was losing possession very easily. Now if you look at the action zones of this particular match, again 47% were in the middle third and 36% of our match were in the away third. So, and that just goes to show the amount of possession we had. And I'm going to come to the possession in a bit, but like I think we've had about 78-80% possession, and it just goes to show that a majority of the play was in the midfield area and in the away third area, which is again pretty much what we had seen in the match as well. And if you look at the average player positioning, you can see the high line that we maintained. Like on an average, our defenders were hugging the midfield line all the time, and that is what our worked to our advantage to an extent, to be able to do quick turnovers. I think again, are all the problems solved? No, I mean there are a lot more problems to solve at Manchester United, but I do think that this is the beginning of a welcome change, because no matter how this scoreline is 3-2, I think this should have ended up being a 3-0 game, which I had predicted. The 2 goals that we conceded, I'm going to discuss, were individual errors. But as you can see here, I think we are playing a very high line, and that's really to our advantage as well. If we are able to have that awareness that we can track back when needed to. So that has been sort of the match report that we can look at. Now let's quickly turn over to our different graphic, so that we can discuss about the player ratings and the play-by-play match as well. So firstly, we've had the first goal that we had was within the first minute of the match, and that was by Garnacho, and that came from a beautiful pressing sequence that we had right from the beginning. I think the pressing in this game from Manchester United was very I mean, it was a huge improvement compared to the previous games, and was also a very fresh sight to see as Manchester United fan, because we were pressing in a formation, we were pressing as a team. It was not a disjointed effort, and that led to the first goal with Mount and Anthony pressing the ball and forcing an error from the defender to in which the pass just falls short of the goalkeeper. Rasmus hops onto it, attacks the goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper panics and doesn't know what to do. Gets the ball goes loose. He tries to scramble to get to the ball, but Garnacho, with the poacher instinct, just hops onto the ball and puts it in the back of an empty net. And that's how we get our first goal. First minute again. Again, with Amorim, we've seen in the last match against Ipswich as well, we scored in the first few seconds of the game, first 90 seconds of the game. Here we are scoring the first minute of the game, which is good, because we are starting with a lot of intensity. But what needs to happen is that this intensity needs to continue for the rest of the match. With Ipswich, we saw that the intensity was not there, and Amorim was asking for more running, more intensity in the game in his press conferences. And I think this is important as both a player and the manager to understand that the right players need to fit the profile, so that they're able to create better options of holding up the ball, of passing through the lines, of intensity, of pace, everything put together. But yeah, I think overall, I think this was a good start to the game. Then in the 19th minute, the Bodø Glimt equalize, and again, I think Bodø Glimt were looking dangerous for a few minutes before they equalized. I also think that sometimes our attackers left the midfield and the defense to deal with the defending positions by themselves. And I think we need to attack as a team, we need to defend as a team. And in this particular goal as well, I think it was important that the way this goal happened was through a dribble play. I think Dalot tried to clear the ball, but then the ball did not get cleared, and then it ended up with an attacker and from Bodø Glimt who just dribbled past a couple of our defenders. And I think again Martinez was nowhere to be seen suddenly, and Bruno is late to track back because the ball bounces back. The ball bounces back from outside the box, falls onto the Bodø Glimt player. Bruno was the one who had lost the ball initially in the midfield, and he doesn't track back on time, and he doesn't cover the attacker, and the attacker gets a free shot at goal. Yes, it was a beautiful shot. It was a lucky shot to an extent, but it was a good skill. It was in the top corner, bended past the goalkeeper, so Onana did not have really a chance to save the goal. But I think in that instance, it could have been avoided if Bruno would have marked his man and would have stayed with him from the midfield area. But anyways, that ended up being a worldly goal. We did not regroup, and in the 23rd minute, they end up getting a second goal. This time, it was a foot race between Malacia and the attacker. The attacker was Philip Zinkernagel. I am not going to pronounce the last name because I'm going to butcher it, I know. So, but I still tried to. But anyways, it was a foot race between Malacia and the attacker, and I think Malacia, returning from injury after a year and a half of a break from football, I think it was too much for him to be able to show his strength and pace. Excuse me. If there was a weakling in our team in the first half, unfortunately it was Malacia, and it was expected since he was coming back after such a long break from football. But then again, I think Glimt was caught in no man's land when Malacia lost out on the foot race. He did not understand if the attacker is going to cross the ball because it was just a 2 versus 2 situation. So he in the last minute he shifts his position and tries to go to the ball, but by then the shot has already gone past him and past the keeper as well. So that they ended up getting a 2-1 lead. Then right before halftime, Rasmus Højlund gets his goal to equalize, and I think that was a wonderful goal by Rasmus Højlund. It was a beautiful pass by Mazraoui. I think I tweeted this out as well, that Mazraoui is I'm going to give my man of the match to Mazraoui, even though Højlund got a brace and Garnacho scored a goal. I think Mazraoui was absolutely immense. I'm going to come to his individual performance as well, but that was a beautiful cross by Mazraoui, and it ended up Højlund got it on an awkward height on his knee. It just bounced awkwardly, but then he, with his striker instinct, he was able to place it past the keeper, and it ended up being our equalizing goal before halftime. And after halftime, our first sub is Dalot in for Malacia. I think that substitution was on point. I think Amorim acted on it. He understood that Malacia was our weakling in the first half, and he took him off and brought in Diogo Dalot from the beginning of the second half. And then the third goal for us, which was the second goal for Højlund, which was again the entire attacking play was led by Mazraoui. He plays a beautiful defense splitting pass for Manuel Ugarte, who squares the ball for Rasmus Højlund to get a tap in, and that's the kind of play that we need for a striker to get into the box and score goals, because we have far too often seen a lot of selfishness from our front three when it comes to building a play. But to see strikers getting a tap in, that's the kind of playmakers that we need to have in our team, and that was a beautiful goal to see. Then we have Marcus Rashford come in for Mason Mount, and then we have Amad Diallo coming in for Anthony, and Luke Shaw coming in for Martinez. Again, the substitutions were on point. I personally thought that we had a lot of control in the second half. Bodø Glimt did not get a sniff of the goal in the second half. I think the only couple of times that they got a sniff of the goal was one absolutely point blank header which Onana saved, and their free kick which also Onana saved. So I don't think Bodø Glimt looked any dangerous in the second half, but we did come in with intent. And then our final substitution was Casemiro in for Glimt. I think that it is just minute managing for De Ligt, or I hope so. I don't want De Ligt to be injured. So I hope that was just minute management for him. But overall, I think Casemiro's contribution in the center half was also very good to an extent. We did not concede stupid chances towards the end of the second half, but also there was this absolute hospital pass by Dalot to Onana from the midfield region, I think, and he passes the ball over the top the entire field to land to Onana, but it just falls short of entering the box. So Onana had to come out of the box. He was one-on-one with the attacker of Bodø Glimt, and he misses the attacker. The ball is squared. He gets up and then tries to, with his feet, attack the ball again, and somehow manages to get his body in line and prevents the second attacker from taking a shot at the goal, which would have easily been a devastating fact, because this was roughly about in the 88th or 86th minute, and that would have been game over. It would have been another draw in the Europa League. In the second half, I think Højlund missed a point blank shot. Garnacho missed a point blank shot. I think the miss by Garnacho, he had an ample amount of time where he took a touch, looked at the goalkeeper, looked at his positioning, looked at the goal, and then tries to curve the ball at the top corner, but then it ends up going over the bar. Mason Mount had a shot which hit the bar and crossbar and came and bounced out. So overall, we did have a lot of chances. I think this could have been a 4-2 game if we were able to be a bit more clinical up front. But I personally was really impressed with the attacking play. So let's just look at the player ratings that we can see in this platform, which is Who Scored. So I'm taking the ratings from that. So okay, so we've got a first quote from, I'm going to look at all the quotes that came in after the match after we've done this particular reaction. I'm going to try to put it up on screen, but I'm not sure if I will be able to, but I'm still going to try to. So anyways, first up, it is Højlund with an 8.9 rating with 2 goals and an assist for the first one. So Højlund did get the assist for the first goal. So that's 8.9 rating for Rasmus Højlund. I think he had a beautiful game. He held up the ball really well. I think the first half he was running off away from the ball really too soon. I was saying that in my watch along, but I feel overall he had a very good game in the second half, and getting a brace and an assist, I think that's a 3-goal involvement for Rasmus Højlund. Beautiful play, beautiful game by him. Next up, next highest rating is for Mazraoui, which is at 7.9. I absolutely agree with it. For me, the man of the match is Mazraoui. The way he defended, the way he intercepted the ball, the way he was, I mean, he could read the game. Mazraoui is a really intelligent player, a very complete player. He has the physicality, he has the pace, he understands when the ball is going to be played to which player. He intercepts the ball really well. He can track back and defend really well. He has played in so many different positions since he has debuted for Manchester United. And today I saw one of the most complete performances by him when he was intercepting the ball right in the midfield area, attacking third, making sure that we get a turnover, a good turnover as well. There were so many defense-splitting passes that Mazraoui had played. And for me, Mazraoui was absolutely the man of the match. I know Højlund had 3-goal involvements and it needs to be going to him. But in my opinion, the more important player in this was Mazraoui, with the amount of effort that he has put in. So for me, he's the man of the match. Then Ugarte also had a very good game. So did Garnacho. So 7.8 rating for both. And Anthony has a 7 rating, and Mount has 6.9, Fernandes 6.6, Malacia 6.8, and Martinez 6.5, De Ligt 6.3, Onana 6.1. And the remaining substitutions I'm going to go on as well. So this is the rating by Who Scored. The way that I personally would rate these players in today's game, I would give Højlund, of course, the highest rating, and I agree with an 8.9 rating. Mazraoui, I would give a solid 8. 7.9, not really sure. I would have given him a solid 8. Garnacho, I would have given Garnacho a 7.5. Ugarte, about a 7. And he got an assist, so maybe a 7.2. I would give Anthony a 6.8. Same goes for Malacia. I would give him a 6 for Malacia. For Martinez and De Ligt, I would give an equal 6.5, 6.5. For Onana, I'm going to give a 6 or 0.2. And for Mason Mount, I agree with the 6.9. And for Bruno, I would give him a 6 as well. I did not like Bruno's performance today, to be honest. I think Bruno is getting a little bit lost in the midfield right now, in my opinion. I don't know. I just did not feel that he was in the game much. He was again going for the long balls. As soon as Rashford came in, Bruno started hitting the Hollywood long passes. And yeah, I think the style of play, I think Bruno needs to improve a bit. But anyways, let's look at the substitutions. I think once Diallo came on, Ahmad, he had a spark. So I would give him a 6.5. Luke Shaw was defensively sound, and attackingly he also played a few pretty good passes. That becomes a 6.5 for Luke Shaw as well from my end. Rashford did not have much of an impact. I would give him an average 6. Diallo, I would give him a 6 as well. I think he made a couple of very stupid errors, Diallo, so I'm going to give him a 6. And Casemiro, I would give him an average 6. He came on for the last 10-15 minutes and gave a solid performance at the center half position. So the overall rating for the team who scored is 6.84 for Manchester United and 6.41 for Bodø Glimt. I would give Manchester United today a solid 7.2, and Bodø Glimt, I would give them an average 6.5 maybe, but I would give Manchester United an overall rating of 7.2. And for Ruben Amorim, I'm going to give him, his subs were on point, his subs were on time, he reacted very well, he looks like a very on-hand coach. So I'm going to give Ruben Amorim a solid 8 on the manager rating today. I think he impacted the play really well, and I think in the second half, if we were able to secure the win, it was because of the changes that he had made. He had identified the gaps, and I think that's really important as a manager. So that's my rating for Ruben Amorim as this game's manager, and as Manchester United's manager, and his first game in the Europa League. He got the first win at Old Trafford. So yeah, it's happy days all around. Now let's look at a few quotes that may have come out by Ruben Amorim. Let me get the quotes up so that we can quickly take a look at that. I will look at X, Twitter, to see a few quotes that might be coming in after the game, because I have not seen any of the interviews post game. I can see Mazraoui's appreciation, but yeah. All right, so the only quote that I can see which is relatable to this particular stream is Rasmus Højlund. He says that I like this back three system. It reminds me of what I did at Atlanta, and it suits me really well. So that's what Rasmus Højlund had to say, and that's where we're going to go. I think I'm going to put up the quotes maybe on Twitter, and I'm going to repost it. So feel free to follow me there. The Twitter links, Twitch links, and YouTube links are all mentioned in this video itself. You can see it on your screen. It's at Streamatrix, so you can catch more action there. Yep. So for my closing thoughts for my match reaction, this has been a short and quick one. I think this has been going on for what, about 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Oh, okay. It's not as short as I wanted it to be, but overall, I think it was a very, very good display of Manchester United's strengths under Amorim. And Amorim needs to be able to create an atmosphere now where we have consistency in this kind of a performance. There was high intensity today. We wanted the ball. We wanted the second ball. We were intercepting the ball a lot more. And we also scored 3 goals. Yes, we conceded 2, but both of them, I think, was avoidable. One was an error by Bruno. The other one was an error by Malacia. So I think if we are able to cover our bases well, the good on a positive note, in the second half, Bodø Glimt did not have any clear-cut chances. That's a good that's a good reaction after the Ipswich game, and I think that's a good turnover by Ruben Amorim to create this style of play right from the get-go. Let's hope that this continues over this weekend as well in the Premier League match. I don't think I will be able to do a preview for that match, but hoping for the win, and I won't be doing a watch-along for that match, but I would definitely be doing a little bit of a match reaction on Sunday if possible. If not, I'm going to see you live in the next one. for my midweek stream next week. But as of now, I'm going to be resuming my FC25 career mode with Manchester United. I mean, we just saw Manchester United win. I hope that I also clinch a couple of wins in my Manchester United FC25 career mode, which is coming up right now. If you're on Twitch, I will just be back in a couple of minutes. If you're on YouTube, it will be a brand new stream, so you can follow me on that stream, and I'm going to see you right there. And let's win some games at FC25, which is coming up right now in just a couple of minutes.